noticed it, last night was the first for quite a lengthy period with no drone attacks. Do you see it as some manifestation that President Trump's threat of higher sanctions have started working actually? Thank you for your question. Frankly speaking, I have no idea what were the reasons behind not using Shaheds and other long-range drones last night. Maybe because of some weather conditions, maybe because we provided the American side with rather detailed information about the Russian trying to tell that Ukrainians are lying about the strikes against energy facilities, that it was their words that were lies, and that the Russians have been fighting our energy facilities. I think that probably the American side contacted Russians to talk about that, but I have no idea. There were strikes, there were FPV drones, unfortunately, yeah. Not long-range weapons, but FPV drones of Kherson region, and 40,000 households were disconnected from the main lines. I'd like to thank our power sector employees and engineers, technicians for the heartfelt work to restore it. But yeah, we haven't had these strikes, but we do not believe Russians, by the way. And by the way, what Annalena has mentioned is an interesting thing, actually. It's very important regarding the bringing back of our children. I'd like to thank for it. I'd like to underscore it that this is exactly the example when Russians, like they say about the power sector, like they say about no one can monitor if the Ukrainians breach something. The example of kids is a very clear-cut one. If they are ready for a ceasefire, they want to stop the war, what prevents them from doing it without any sort of monitoring? Like bringing back those children, it's a very nice example, I would say, just to demonstrate their intention to end this war, or not.
Spiegel magazine. I wanted to follow up again on Taurus. Do you expect the designated Chancellor, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, to swiftly decide upon the delivery of Taurus systems to Ukraine once he enters office?
You asked about, did you ask about Taurus?
The Taurus.
Yeah,
do you expect the designated Chancellor to decide quickly upon the delivery of...
No, we will work on it. We had some conversations. I don't want to go further to details before new Chancellor is in the office. So I think I will be able to answer on your question a little bit later.
But is that your hope?
Yes, of course. Of course. It's a little bit more than hope.
You expect it?
I can't find the right word. More than hope.
Between hope and expect.
More than hope on Merz. Thank you so much.
Шановні колеги.
Dear colleagues, Ukraine. Thank you. My first question is to Madam Minister. Western media published information recently about the Americans allegedly discussing with the Russians the restoration of Nord Stream operations. Do you have any information to confirm or disprove the involvement of Germany in that, and what is the Germany's position regarding the restoration of Nord Stream or Nord Stream 1 operation? And a question to you, Mr. President, just to specify, you mentioned the meeting come Friday, the first Franco-British mission with the military. What about contingent mandate? What can be expected to be discussed? And do you see it possible that without the US support of the idea of contingent, this will happen? How important is US support of Europe's moves?
Die Fehlentscheidung mit Blick auf
the wrong decision regarding Nord Stream 2 has been a hard pill to swallow for the German public. Together with our eastern partners, with the Ukrainians, Poles, Baltic states residents, we have always been telling that this project is not an economic one, but rather a preparation for some future aggression. At that time, it had looked differently from Germany, and we had to pay the price as a public, as a society. We restored our dependence on the Russian gas and crude oil, and Putin did turn this pipeline into a weapon against us, against Europe. He said he didn't want it to upkeep it anymore. We had to pay billions of euros. And now we understand that this pipeline cannot be revived into operation. This decision is in the hands of Germany. The outgoing government made the decision unanimously, completely unanimously, and you can see a complete consensus between democratic parties. We know from various sources of various speculations on the matter, but the central political forces in Germany, they do tend to clearly decide that Europe's economy and the European security are interconnected, and surely this war has become a huge burden, also economical one, on us, and without any doubt such economic projects will never reappear again because they're dangerous for us, for our security. So doubtlessly when we are talking about sanctions, it is about sanctions in the power sector, with shadow oil as well, and we can no longer support and feed and replenish the Russian budget to allow them continue with the war. Again, we want to be independent from Russia. We know that we detained an oil-carrying vessel. We are monitoring these shadow fleet movements. Sometimes they try to slip beyond sanctions, and at times this leads to environmental disasters in the Baltic Seas. It's a threat to tourism for the Baltic countries, and it is important to remain vigilant in every area because energy matters are strongly linked to security ones. Yeah, by the way, there were meetings online, offline, in France, in the UK. We had discussions of it. I think that based on our proposals, we will be able to get more specific answers already this Friday. At least what I've seen from our military today, they're preparing for the meeting. I think that there will be a couple more meetings to discuss not just the contingent, but also the future force, to see the future of the Ukrainian army as a part of the continental security. We have our vision, our military have their vision, and today we had quite a lengthy discussion of it, about 2 hours. I saw certain things they presented, and from my opinion, me myself as a president, I don't know if our partners are going to support it. Many more meetings will be probably necessary, but for me as a president, this is satisfactory. As regards the American side, America has never ever mentioned their presence as boots on the ground in Ukraine after the end of the war, but this has never been taken away from the table. They've always been skeptical about the peacekeeper task force in general, also in terms of Europe, this is there. But yeah, everyone is willing to see America present across Europe in this or that shape or format. As regards Ukraine, the in-depth intelligence efforts, exchange of data, satellite communication, innovative technologies, investments in our domestic production, the presence in the air, and the defense of the skies. I myself discussed the defense of the skies with President Trump. I mentioned it. I said to him that for me, it is also a presence, a huge presence. So if we can provide total coverage of the skies in Ukraine with Patriot systems, it will become a very strong contribution of the United States of America in the security guarantees. To say that we are looking into various options, everyone, the whole Europe would love to see a US present. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam Minister. The press conference is over.
Колеги.